how's it going? Sorry about my gross little mat. I haven't got time to clean it, but since everyone's been asking me about binding and how I do my binding, I will go ahead and show you. And I did get this idea from my sister scrapper, which she got from Laura from Follow the Paper Trail. So I'm going to do my own version of their binding. So first of all, you're going to start off with these measurements. So you can essentially make the length whatever you want. Today I'm making a 5.5 by 8.5 album. So since I want 8.5 to be the length, I'm going to fill that into all these blank spots. If you wanted a 6 by 6, you would put 6 in here, 7 by 5, so forth. So anyways, I am cutting out one strip of each of these measurements. So 1 7/8 inches by 8.5 inches, 2 5/8 inches by 8.5 inches, 3 3/8 inches by 8.5 inches, and this last one is a little trick I'm going to show you at the end. So don't worry about that measurement, just these first 3. So then with that, you are going to take it lengthwise, so the long way right here, and you're going to score them all on each side at 3 1/4 inches, and then your spine should be 2 3/8 of an inches. So let me go ahead and show you. So as you can see, I have all my pieces are 8.5 in length, and we have the 1 7/8 inches, we have the 2 5/8 inches, and the 3 3/8 inches. And you can see right here, I scored it at 3 1/4. So you don't want to bend these. I know I bent this so I can kind of show you how difficult it is to work with when it is bent, but you don't want to bend these. You want to leave these all straight, and then we're going to glue them together. And you can use your score tape, you can use hot glue. I personally use this glue because it lasts me forever. Let me see, can you see that? And one of these glues I actually used to make all those projects for my stepdad's party. And so you are going to start with the larger piece, leave it on the surface. You're going to take your middle piece, turn it over, and in between those score lines, I'm just going to do a rough gluing because there's no use in wasting it. But anyways, make sure it's all glued really well, and then you're going to center it on top of that one. And then wherever you think is the middle, then you're going to press down. Okay, so then you're going to do the same with this piece. You're going to glue it right in between those score marks. So we are going to do that. Again, it's a little sloppy, but that's fine because this is just my practice paper. So you're going to set that right in the middle. And see, if you fold them, it's kind of a little bit difficult to line them up. But if they were all flat, you can see on both sides. Whoops. You can see on both sides that I'm leaving around the same width. Okay. So from this point, you would let it dry. I usually let mine dry for 5 minutes so I know that the glue has set. But if you're using hot glue or score tape, you obviously don't have to wait. So anyways, from this point, you are going to get your little score bone folder and fold on all the score lines, and you're going to do this on all sides. Alright, so we can just pretend that we did them all, and you should have like, here, let me do these sloppily. I know this is horrible, I'm sorry guys. Then you should end up with a piece like this, okay? So you're going to have all these little flaps hanging up, and then you'll have the bottom part that's all flat. And this is what I like about this binding, is that if you have a really good glue, this is why you need a really good glue, this surface is all flat. All flat. And so, I'm going to set that to the side, and I'll show you how I do the pages. So I have one that I'm going to be working on, and then you'll start gluing the pages down. And since I'm making pocket pages, I'm going to go ahead and glue one with you. But essentially, this is what it's going to look like. So, I'll glue one with you. And how do you do your pocket pages? Since I'm making it 8.5 by 5.5, I just took an 8.5 piece of paper by 11 and I scored it at 5.5, which is going to make my pocket. So, you're going to leave it open. And I would recommend decorating the pages after you have these in your binding, so that way you can kind of see where you want things and how you want them laid in your binder or your book. Sorry, I'm like trying to talk and glue at the same time. You would think it's easy, but anyways, so I usually press that down really hard. You can use your bone folder to burnish that, or just use force. And so then I'm just going to glue all this, make sure it's going to be tight. And then, most important part, you don't want to forget this bottom, because I have done that, and if you forget to glue the bottom, woo boy, is it hard to try and glue back. Alright, so, and when I glued the back part, I made sure that it was flush against the binding, so that way your hinges are hidden. And some of them, yes, you might need to rework, because, you know, not every score line is perfect. So that's what it should look like. All your pages, when it lays flat, should have the same amount of width on both sides. So when you turn it this way, it'll have the same amount. Alright, so there's your little book. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to show you how to do the binding for this. I know this video is 6.5 minutes long already, so I'm going to try and show you these real quick. So, tip number 1, if you're a scrapbooker, save everything. Okay, not everything, but I like to save cereal boxes specifically for mini albums, because you don't have to go out and buy cardstock, and you're going to cover them anyway. So I have already cut them out, and I like to leave a 1/2 inch from my all around from the size of the binding. So essentially it's gonna look like this. You're gonna have, whoops, sorry, it's gonna look like this. You're gonna have all space all around. You can leave more or less, but I just usually do a 1/2 inch. So since the measurements for the spine are 2 3/8, that's what I measured here. And we're gonna glue this down. And this long piece of paper, this long piece of brown paper, is actually just 2 8.5 sheets of paper taped just in the middle, and then I'm gonna put the binding in them. Alright, so then we're just gonna glue these down. Alright, and you're gonna leave a little bit of space in between there, so that way your binding can fold. If you do it too tight, your paper is gonna rip. So let's go ahead and do this other side. And I like using hot glue because it's cheap and it holds really well. Alright, so this is what it should look like. And then from here, what you're going to do is take your scissors, and we're going to cut off a little bit of the corners. And I'll show you. So we're cutting this off of the corner. See? And so you don't want to go too close to the edge. You want to leave just a tiny bit of space, so that way the cardboard's not showing when you fold it all together. So let me do these real quick, and then I'll come back to you and we'll go ahead and start the gluing. But any projects that you guys are working on, I would love to see them on my page. I'm always telling people they can post stuff on my page, and it's just always a good thing to see other people's projects so you can get inspiration too. Alright, so from here I got all my corners cut off. So now what I'm doing is I'm just going to go over and pre-fold all the paper around here. I know, it might sound like a pain, but your binding's going to be really beautiful and so worth it. And actually, when I do this binding, a lot of people think that I actually buy a book base for my mini albums, and I always have to tell them, no, I made that myself, you know, and they're always in disbelief because, you know, it's almost looks too good, they say. Alright, so, alright. So, you're going to glue these down. And this is why I like the hot glue, because it's fast, it's easy, and secure. Alright, let me load up another glue stick. Alright, make sure not to burn yourself when you're doing these. Alright. So I like to do the bottom ones first and then the sides, because I don't know why. I just feel like it looks prettier when I close it up. Alright. So I'm trying to do this in frame, but it's also very large. So alright, so we got the top and bottom glued down. Let me go ahead and do the sides. And make sure that you get these corners so that way nothing flips up when you close it. Alright. Got one more edge to do, guys. Alright. So, I'm going to show you the corner. See? Hopefully you can see it. It looks very pretty, very clean. And if you have any edges that you don't like this one's a little pointy, you can just clip it off and it looks nice and square. And then from this point, you would just kind of work your pages, close them. And see, on this side, you don't have any cracking. That's the biggest part when making a binding, is you want it to look nice on the outside if you don't plan on covering the spine. Like, you can do an embellishment in the middle and so forth. So anyways, since I'm not done with this album, I just wanted to go ahead and show you what you would glue it like. So I always turn mine on the side and stand up, and then I glue all this down, and when you're standing up you can see a little better on the width that's in front and the back and all the sides. So then when it closes, you'd have this wonderful little book that, you know, is easy to show. And so for this measurement down here, what I find easier for me, this 4 1/8 is I add an extra flap to this thing. And so you're thinking, why there's no pages there? Well, I will show you. I don't like to use paper a lot on my binding. I like to use felt. Yeah, that's just a recent thing. So then I don't have to worry about cutting a spine. I just cut two covers, and then I'm gonna glue them to my actual book. So first, you're going to, I already see, again, using my cereal boxes. I covered it, and then I'm going to get this back part and glue it really well, and then I'm going to place this on here. Okay, so, and this is going to be all covered, because then I usually decorate this and cover all this so it looks nice and cohesive. Alright, so we're going to do the same with the other side. And for this one, I like to measure it up with one of the lines and keep it real tight and real clean, because you don't want your covers to be all wonky. Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm bringing this down here and follow the line. Alright. So then you have this lovely little opening right here. And I know it looks ugly right now, but I'm going to show you what I do. So I'm not going to have this album be purple, but this was a leftover purple felt. So all you have to do, glue all of this in the middle, put that felt down, and then you would put the felt over. So it ends up looking like this. And the binding is flush with the felt. The felt is a little tougher to break, and then you could just decorate it however you want. So I hope that helps. You have two different binding systems that I included in here, or two different covers, I should say. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope this helps, guys, and you guys have a wonderful day, okay? Bye.